FBI Director Christopher Wray is committing to sharing more information with lawmakers after the January attack on the Capitol. He appeared before the Senate Judiciary Committee Tuesday, where he was questioned on the Bureau's handling of intelligence prior to the insurrection. Senator Sheldon Whitehouse blasted the FBI for failing to answer written questions from lawmakers in hearings involving FBI witnesses over the last 4 years. Wray initially tried to pin that lack of response on an elaborate interagency process. Here's what the senator said.
We had
no question in my mind
8 letters go unanswered, the oldest one dated March of 2017. So if you think your process is working, we're not seeing it on our end.
Well, I will commit to you that I will do what I can to improve the process. I am frustrated as you are, and obviously we need to get better.
Well, I will commit to you that I'm going to make sure that this gets done.
And Democratic Senator Sheldon Whitehouse of Rhode Island joins me now. Senator, welcome. Thanks very much for being with us.
Thanks. Good to be with you.
So before we discuss the FBI, I did want to get your thoughts on some major political news. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo is facing sexual harassment allegations, and today he apologized but said he will not resign. Do you think he should step down?
Well, I'm not a New Yorker, so it's not my call. I understand that the New York Attorney General is looking into this, and I think whatever the outcome is of that investigation should inform any decision he makes.
Let's turn to your questioning of FBI Director Wray on Tuesday. He did, as we said, express a willingness to share more information with lawmakers. If you are not satisfied, though, Senator, with what you get, what might you consider doing? What are your options?
The courts, having expressed an unwillingness to enforce subpoenas by Congress, have directed us to look at withholding appropriations, stalling nominees, and using the other tools of legislative persuasion. I think that was a mistake by the courts. I think that if you can enforce a judicial subpoena, you should enforce a legislative subpoena just as readily, and that fair ground rules could be set for that. But that's what they said. So those are the tools that we have, and it's just not tolerable to have an agency of government, least of all a law enforcement agency, that won't answer questions for years at a time about its conduct.
Given your experiences, Senator, do you have faith in the FBI?
On this? No, they're going to have to prove it to me. I've got a demonstrated record of categorical blockade of information. And I know because we just got 800 questions answered on behalf of Attorney General nominee Garland, what they're capable of doing if they want to. And we saw them build a side road to funnel information to Republicans when Trump wanted the Crossfire Hurricane investigation investigated. So not only was it a blockade, it was a selective blockade, and that makes it all the more frustrating and discouraging and disappointing.
Well, with respect to the handling of intelligence before January 6th, have these hearings given you a better sense of where the actual breakdowns occurred?
I think we're going to need to continue to look into this. And I suspect that there's going to be a much broader solution than just like one little specific silver bullet that's the solution. It's very hard when you are getting boatloads of information into a fusion center that has to go through it, sort it out, analyze it, and figure out what it means, and narrow it so that the consumer of those services can actually take it in to solve that problem. I think it may be a resource problem, but certainly when an FBI report out of Norfolk says that there's going to be a war and that information doesn't get to the decision makers protecting the Capitol, something has gone awry.
I know you said it's not possible right now to sort of pinpoint one thing. You want to take sort of a broader view of things. But what I hear you saying when you talk about resources sounds like perhaps more analysts might be necessary to take in the volume of information that's coming in with respect to possible
and to
threats.
speed up the turnaround. It may be, I think there are over 100 joint terrorism task forces around the country. It may be that we need to figure out how to solve this in a lot of different locations so that there aren't log jams of information when something pops up in one JTTF's jurisdiction. So TBD on what the solution is, but we're going to continue to look into it until we're satisfied.
Our time is running short here, Senator, but I wonder, there has been talk about an ongoing threat on Capitol Hill. Do you feel safe on Capitol Hill?
I do. In fact, I'd like to see the barbed wire come down as soon as possible, as soon as the security professionals have come up with their plan. Not a great look for our great republic to have its capital wreathed in barbed wire.
You'd like to see the National Guard remain at their posts there?
I think I'd like to see the National Guard and the barbed wire and the fencing all come down as soon as possible, but I'm waiting for the security professionals to make their recommendations as to how to do that safely.
Let's turn to climate change. You have presented your Time to Wake Up poster on the Senate floor nearly 300 times. What do you want to see from the Biden administration, and are they moving quickly enough on this issue?
Yes, I think they are. I think that they've got an all-hands-on-deck approach. I think even the non-climate cabinet members have been tasked to address climate change to the extent that they can affect it from their positions. They've had very strong appointees. So I'm really happy with where they are right now. I think they'd be a few steps ahead if the slow process of getting nominees confirmed were accelerated. And you have to ask Mitch McConnell why he's not being more cooperative about more rapidly moving the nominees through. But I'm generally confident with what they're doing. I think that the Build Back Better bill is going to have a big climate component to it, and we're going to get to work on that with some real enthusiasm. And then comes Glasgow, the next Paris meeting, the COP meeting in November. So this is going to be a very busy and active year, and I hope one that really turns the corner.
And Senator, what do you say to Americans who might be watching and wondering about jobs, though, and the cost of a climate agenda that, in their view, they may view it as a potential threat to the jobs that they hold today?
I think there are localized areas where the transition that is inevitably coming is going to be difficult for local economies and for individuals who hold the jobs. If you repaired landline telephones, then you had a lot less work when the cell phones came along. And a similar transition is happening in energy, albeit a larger one. So we have to help the individuals and the localities who are inevitably going to have to change things when we shift from fossil fuel to cheaper, more efficient renewables. But writ large, what we're looking at, according to the best economic advice that we have, Nobel Prize winning advice, is that we'll actually be economic winners for solving the climate change problem, and we'll be economic losers if we don't. So we advance the economy of the United States. We advance jobs and we advance wealth and well-being by taking care of this, but we also have to remember the people who transitions affect and make sure that we take care of all of our American brothers and sisters.
Well, we know from polling that for young people especially, climate change is an urgent and pressing issue. Senator Sheldon Whitehouse of Rhode Island, thank you so much, Senator.
Pleasure to be with you.